is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me this evening for another episode of Book Chat. Tonight I am going to be chatting with you about a very new book that is called The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. And this book just came out this year. It is by the same author who wrote The Guest List, which was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick last year, and I did a book chat video about it last year. I really enjoyed that book. That was the first book that I had read by this author, so I was very excited that she had a new novel coming out. I will be very upfront that I did not enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed The Guest List. I thought that some parts of it were, for lack of a better word, a little cheesy with their use of suspense. She'd end one chapter saying, that you thought something big was going to happen, and then pick it up right away that it was just like the cat jumping on somebody or something, where it felt kind of like cheap thriller thrills, if you will. And I thought that overall the book could have been a lot shorter. But I still enjoyed it, and I did finish it. It's over 350 pages, so it is kind of long. So, that says something, because if I didn't enjoy it, then I would have put it down. But enough of my slightly negative beginning. Let's get into a summary of what this book is about. So The Paris Apartment follows Jess, our main character, and she is going to stay with her brother Ben at his apartment in Paris. And when she arrives at his apartment, he's not there. And there's no trace of him. He had just left her a voice message right before she arrived saying to come on up to his apartment. So there was no indication that he was going to be gone. And she decides, of course, to start looking for him and asks for help from the other folks who are living in this apartment. So some of the other characters, there is the concierge who lives in a little hut on the grounds and kind of watches the doorway and does tidying and cleaning around. And so she's one of the characters she sees a lot because of her position. There is Mimi, who is a younger girl living with her friend Camille in one of the apartments. And Camille's a big party girl, and Mimi kind of keeps to herself and is a little more reserved. There's Nick, who is a friend of Ben's from college. They went to Cambridge together, and I should say Jess is from England, and so her brother and Nick went to Cambridge together, and then Nick's been living in America for the past 10 years and only recently reconnected with Ben and asked him to move into this apartment complex with them. There is Anton, who is a very disgruntled and angry drunk. His wife Dominique, who leaves towards the beginning of the novel, and then up on the top floor in the penthouse, there is Sophie and her husband, and they are the owners of the building and socialites, very, very wealthy. So these are all the characters that Jess interacts with, trying to find her brother, and you get little glimpses of their stories. Similar to The Guest List, this book is told in alternating perspectives from all of the different characters. So you'll start to get kind of far into one character's journey, and it'll switch characters and take you back and fill in the pieces as you go. So that's a really fun device that I do like. Just earlier in the book, I didn't feel like it was done particularly well because it didn't jump from character to character as much. So the suspense is a little harder to keep up when you have one chapter that's, let's say, Jess, and then so the next chapter is also Jess. The suspense is easier to keep up when you have a chapter that's Jess and then the next chapter is Nick, let's say, and you don't return to Jess for a couple of chapters on, because you don't want to skip ahead, but you really want to know what's happening with that particular character. This book reminded me a lot of Riley Sager's book, Lock Every Door, which has a similar-ish premise, in that it's an apartment building thriller. I guess that's kind of where the similarities end, but it reminded me a lot of that. In that book, the main character is house sitting in an apartment complex, and there's a lot of mysterious stuff going on in the apartment complex with another missing person and finding out information about all the different inhabitants of the apartment complex. That book is set in New York. I also really enjoyed that. It's more of a thriller horror book, whereas this is just a mystery thriller. And so, but if you do like this book, or if you like that book, then you can go either way. If you like this book, check out Lock Every Door. And if you like Lock Every Door, you're probably going to enjoy this book. So, like I said, I had slightly mixed reviews on this book, but I still think it's worth a read. I'd probably give it 3.5 to 4 stars. We have it in our collection, and it does have a holds list, so go put your name on the list now if you are interested in reading it. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.